I don't know. Here's what I feel the trailer represents: a return to optimism.
Mm-hmm.
So much of our media is dark. The world is going to end. Climate change is gonna is they've been screaming out here. You want to feel confident about what's happening with climate change? Go watch An Inconvenient Truth.
Yeah.
Literally nothing Al Gore said would happen in that doc has happened on the timeline he states. I believe in humanity. I believe that we can solve big problems. I also think it's kind of arrogant of man to think, well, we can, we can have this huge effect. I think we do have an effect. And I do think we do need to cut down on pollutants. I remember when I first moved to LA in 1989, if you were at a certain point in the hills, you would look down on LA and there was a brown cloud. It was a brown, you remember, Alan.
Yeah, well, it was worse when I was I was born and raised in LA. It was worse.
Guess
in
what?
the 70s, it was awful.
It was awful. Guess what? Doesn't exist. We changed emissions. Certainly we want to make changes, but not so dramatic and not so quick that we're going electric by 2035. That's insane. That will just, I'm optimistic. I think right now, and I feel for young people, teens, kids and teens being fed a constant flow of bad news and dystopian, and you've got no future and you're not going to be able to afford this, and the climate, everything's going to end, and these mental ill cases throwing paint and on works of art and gluing themselves to the road because they've been so filled with propaganda. They've been so propagandized that they're driven to do stupid, careless things to get attention and make it about themselves. I want to see optimism. I want to see our cinema return to optimism. And I think if this movie at least has that tone and message, the success of James Gunn's Superman can be kind of a beacon, a light, if you will, that can inspire and give us some hope. Give us some hope. We need that. We need something to aspire to. That's what Superman is. I will never be Superman. But I will aspire to live the virtues of Superman, to be effectively a Boy Scout in a sense, and look to think of others before myself, to help people. And I remember as a kid, I was a kid and I saw that first Superman movie. Sure, I wanted to be Superman. But and so I just remember who I was as a kid, what Superman meant to me, and superheroes in general, in comic book form, on TV with Batman. Adam West Batman was such a goody two shoes. He wouldn't break a law, right? I mean,
red lights and stuff.
Red light, just anything. No, Robin, we have to follow the letter of the law. It's like, I love that. I love, I want to, we can aspire to live the virtues that Superman represents. And that's the story that I see James Gunn telling, that Superman enters a world already with heroes that may not act so much like superheroes. And I think that this movie can bring a sense of hope. It can represent to young kids something to aspire to be, instead of an influencer. I don't think influencers are heroes. And the fact that kids want to be influencers rather than want to be or live the virtues of a fictional hero that represents hope and heroism, I want to see a return to that. I really think, when you look at like the rates of teen depression and God forbid, teens thinking of ending themselves. All of that has risen with the access to cell phones and social media. It's really had a horrible effect on our youth, and we need to return to bring back real heroes. The idea that everything's got to be dystopian and dark. I want to see a return to hope.